Hi guys, I'm here again with another interesting tutorial. Today what are we going to learn? I'll be talking about sewing needles. Okay, sewing machine needles. Okay, so when it comes to sewing needles, there are different sewing machine needles. Okay, but before we understand the different sewing machine needles, we need to understand the anatomy of a needle. Okay, every needle consists of these different parts. We have the shank, we have the shafts, we have the hollow groove, and we have the needle eye. Okay, the needle eye, that's where you pass in the thread. Okay, so there are different types of sewing needles. Okay, there are different types of sewing needles for each sewing project, and using the wrong sized needle is one of the common sewing mistakes we should try to avoid. Okay, for example, if you notice your needle breaking, it might not necessarily mean that there is something wrong with your sewing machine. It might just be a simple thing, which is your needle. The needle has often be underrated so much when it comes to any sewing project, because the truth is that you might think the sewing machine has problem, and you start touching areas in the sewing machine you shouldn't bother to touch, not knowing that it was just a simple thing, your sewing needle. So pay attention to which sewing needles you use per time. Okay, pay attention to your needles. It is very important. Now listen, the wrong sized needle can cause the following problems. Okay, number one, it can cause a break or the shred of your thread. Okay, then second, it can cause skipped stitches. That's one of the problems of using the wrong needle. Okay, another problem is it can damage your bobby hook. It can damage it. Another problem is that it can punch holes in your fabrics. Okay, it can punch holes in your fabric. Then another one is the thread keeps cutting, thereby causing frustration. Have you ever gotten tired of sewing and you hear people say, oh, sewing is stressful, I don't even understand my sewing machine, I don't know what's happening, I have tried to oil my machine, I have tried to do other things, checking all the engines and everything, the machine is not working, all that, and they take the sewing machine to the machine engineer, and only for the engineer to check the machine and just realize that, oh, it's just the needle. Okay, most engineers will not tell you what's behind it. They will just charge you, and to you, you will know they didn't do anything. It's just the needle. So please ensure you always check out which needle should work for which fabric. Okay, so now it is very important to choose the right needle size carefully according to the fabric weight. Now, when I talk about fabric weight, I'm talking about, is your fabric a lightweight fabric, or is your fabric the heavyweight fabric? Okay, examples of lightweight fabrics are your net, your lace, your tulle, organza, silk, chiffon, voile. Okay, so all these are examples of lightweight fabric. Now for these lightweight fabrics, you need to use lower sized needles for it. For example, like size 14, size 12, size 16 is moderately light. It is in between heavyweight fabrics and lightweight. Okay, so size 16 is moderately light. Okay, it is not heavy, it is not too light. But from size 18 to 24, those are for heavyweight fabric. Okay, those are for heavyweight fabrics like jeans, like leather and other types. Okay, use. But please, this particular one I'm going to talk about is violin. This is what we popularly use here. This is what we popularly use here. Violin is a very strong and unique kind of sewing needle. Okay, so now this violin, don't just go to the market, because I see a lot of people go shopping for their sewing project and they just say give me needle. You don't just go and say give me needle. There is a particular needle for a particular project. Okay, so now we have four types of sewing needles. Okay, there is this type called for this violin, I'm reviewing on violin. We have the DB. Okay, the DB. Now when you check the back here, I don't know if you can see properly. Okay, when you check the back, you observe that um, there is they wrote some stuffs here. So if you see DB, so DB is specially for industrial sewing machines, and also some kind of tabletop machine also uses DB. Okay, so it depends on what you are the sewing machine you are using. Okay, so but most especially for industrial sewing machines, you go for DB. DB is called DB. Okay, now aside this DB, there is one they call HA. Okay, HA, I don't know if you can see this properly. HA, you see HA. Now this HA sewing needle is good for stretchy fabrics. Stretch any fabric that stretches, then you go for HA. Okay, and this HA, you can use it on most sewing machines. Okay, you can use it on your tabletop machine, you can use it on your blackhead machines. That's when I say blackhead, I'm talking about manual sewing machines. Okay, you can use it for blackhead sewing machine. Please, using this HA makes your stitches very smooth when it comes to stretchy fabrics. When it comes to stretchy fabrics, don't joke with your HA sewing machine. Let me show us again. Have you seen your HA sewing machine? It's very important. So I'll just drop this here. Then another one we have is what they call DP. Okay, DP. Now this DP sewing machine, this one is very good for anything blackheads. For blackheads, when I say blackheads, I'm talking about manual sewing machine. Okay, so you just need to check the size. Now if you look at, I don't know if you can see this properly, if you look at it, you will notice that they usually write two, as in where the size is, they usually write two numbers. You see something like for this particular one, you see something like 110, that's 110/18, right? Now this 110 represents the European size. Okay, this 110 represents the European size, why this 118 sorry, this 18 represents the American size. Whatever size you want to use depends on the weight of the fabric. Like I said before, the lighter the fabric, the lower the size of the needle you should use. For example, for lightweight fabrics like your organza, your silk, your chiffon, your what's it called, your lace, your tulle, your nets, you have to go for lower sizes like size 14. so you have to go for lower sizes. But for heavier fabrics, heavyweight fabrics like jeans, like leather and all that, you start with 18, 22, 24. There's even 24. Yeah, there's 24. Needle size 24 there is. So that's been settled, that for lighter weight fabrics you go for lower sized needles, for heavyweight fabrics you go for higher sized needle. That's the size has to be higher. Okay, so that being said, now there's another type of needle I want to talk about. Now I've talked about the DB needle, I've talked about the HA needle, I have talked about the DP needle. Please note, DB and DP are two different types of needles. Okay, they are not the same. The DP is for the industrial sewing machine, while the DP is for normal regular blackhead sewing machines and all that. Now the last one on the list is the DC needle. Now this DC needle is for weaving machine. This is not for your regular sewing machine. Okay, it is not for your regular sewing machine. Not like you want to sew your clothes. No, 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 this is for weaving. Okay, and this particular DC, the DC sewing needle is usually the shortest you can find. If I remove this needle now and compare it to all these other needles, you will observe that the needle is shorter, is always shorter. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so if you take it and you remove this one, let me take one out of it. So if you remove it and you put this, you will see that the other needle is longer than it. Can you see? I don't know if you can see this. It's always longer. The other types of needle is longer than this DC needle. The DC needle is specially for your weaving. Okay, the weaving machine, especially for the weaving machine. So let me just keep it back so that I don't mix it up. Okay, because they all look the same, but they are not the same. Okay, they all look the same, but they are not the same. Okay, always ensure you take note of your needles so that you don't mix them up, So that being said, I'm going to show us how to thread the needle. Okay, sorry, how to fix the needle in my sewing machine. So come with me. So guys, I want to show us how to fix the needle. Okay, so the first thing to do is you have to loosen this part. Okay, if your sewing machine is the type that has something like that you need a screwdriver to unscrew this part, then you have to get a screwdriver. Okay, but mine, I can still turn the screw from here. Okay, so but you don't have to open everything up. Okay, so after doing that, next thing, I'll remove the needle. Don't let the needle to fall inside. Okay, so now this is the needle. Okay, if you look at this part, this is the hollow groove. This part is the hollow groove. You can see, let me see if we can see it properly because of the flash. Let me see it. So this is the hollow groove. Okay, this is the hollow groove. So this hollow groove part is the part that will face me. Okay, it will face me, while this part